Hello everyone, it's your bud. I'm making a video today on my favorite weapons in Dark Souls 3. Now, I am disabled, so I can't actually play the game, but that doesn't stop me from imagining, and I still do have my favorite weapons. So we're going to go through. My pronunciation might be all over the place, so please forgive me. Starting with Friede's Great Scythe, then on to the Heysel pick, then Quills, and ending with the Dancer's Enchanted Swords. Friede's Great Scythe is probably the coolest one. There's going to be lots of video from other YouTubers as I am too disabled to actually get any footage. I've never made it far enough into the game to get any of these weapons. So we're going to be using other footage. I hope this doesn't get taken down. Go check everyone out if you want to see more of these cool weapons. So starting with Friede's Great Scythe, it has some really cool weapon arts. The weapon arts are probably the neatest thing about this. As you can see, it is 2 scythes in one weapon slot, depending on whether you're one-handing or two-handing. So if you're two-handing a single weapon, then you keep your extra scythe on your back, and then if you're one-handing each scythe, you pull out the second scythe and it engages with magic. It looks really cool, and its attack cannot be parried. That awesome jumping, slicing thing cannot be parried. This is the only scythe that has a frostbite effect on the weapon, so every single hit does frostbite damage, and it has a spell that when you swipe at the ground, it can create crystals that deal damage. Now onto the Heysel pick. The Heysel pick is great for casting. I would probably use this in the offhand along with the scythe or the other weapons. So this would probably be the main offhand weapon, and it would be great for casting. But it's also a pretty interesting one because I don't know, I feel like it has enough poise to get through the big strong knights, but it's also good enough for sorceries. There are many ways that you can boost the effectiveness, so go on and check out other videos if you want to know how to boost the effectiveness of any of these weapons. I'm not going to be so much talking about your setup as I am going to be talking about the coolness of the weapons. There's not much to say about the Heysel pick, but it is very useful. It's probably the most useful casting tool that I've found in Dark Souls 3. The Quills. The Quills are probably my favorite rapier because they also have the throwing. That is right. This is also another weapon that is 2 weapons in one slot. So depending on whether you one-hand or two-hand, it is different. The one-hand has a rapier with a really good thrust, and then the two-hand pulls out more blades in the left hand, and you can throw those blades like a dart or a throwing knife. So it's a very ninja-style weapon. I really like it. If someone gets in the range of the Great Scythe, then you can pull out the Quills and start attacking them, and the Quills I think work fairly well with the Heysel pick in the left hand. So depending on the Quills, whether you're one-handing or two-handing, there's some dashes and darting around, there's throwing things. It's basically like throwing a whole bunch of really long daggers. It's pretty cool. And the very last one is the Dancer's Enchanted Swords. These are the coolest weapon in the game and the very first weapon in any Dark Souls game that I just thought would be the best. I tried my best to get through Dark Souls 3 to find them, but I just couldn't do it. Maybe if I get some friends and summons one day I'll be able to, but for now it's unattainable. But they are the coolest because of their weapon art. The weapon art, again, like the Great Scythe, this weapon art is really stylish. It's just a spin to win. People call it the Beyblade. It's pretty awesome. And you cannot parry the Dancer's weapon art. Same with the Great Scythe. The Great Scythe and the Dancer's Enchanted Swords weapon arts, both of them cannot be parried. And the Dancer's Blade is the third of the set that is 2 weapons in one slot. So depending on whether you're one-handing or two-handing, you can either have a Dancer's Enchanted Sword in one hand, or you can have one enchanted sword in each hand. So altogether, that's a lot of variety. The Dancer's Enchanted Sword has some pretty good slashing attacks. The Quills, lots of stabbing, plus there's the throwing knife option. The Heysel pick is really good for sorcery, and the Great Scythe is just great for spamming. So these are my favorite weapons in all of Dark Souls. I hope that you don't hate my opinion. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.